It would be fun if we talked a little bit about aircraft. So we have our flight helmet on, and we're gonna go over in GTA what makes a good pilot, since this is up for debate. First off, if you are new to flying, I highly recommend you get behind the wheel, or yoke as it were, of a more beginner-friendly aircraft, something like this Cuban 800 you get when you purchase the hangar. Fun fact, this Cuban 800 has actually had some flight time. Not much. You'll see, we'll just, none of these really look good on this plane, so we're gonna go to a classic color. We're gonna paint this kind of a yellow, and I'm thinking yellow and silver. I'm kind of liking that before we get into the video. Yellow and black works. Screw it. It's a fun color combination. Alright, so we're gonna exit the hangar with this, and I'm just gonna talk about the beginner stages of aircraft. This is a perfect trainer. It's a Cuban 800. They're not expensive if you don't own a hangar, and if you don't own a hangar, you already have one. So you might as well just come out, taxi out onto the runway, and get some flight hours in this game, because flying in GTA, and in most games I find especially, is really fun. But I'm an aviation guy. I really like airplanes. So you're gonna just bring your tail up and you're airborne. And when you're airborne, you have to know what your plane can do and what your plane... Do I have bombs on this thing? No. The bomb bay's installed, but I don't have any bombs. Probably for the best. This thing would get killed instantly. So this is a Cuban 800, very beginner-friendly aircraft. You can do your ailerons. It does lose a little altitude. You can barnstorm a little bit. You can do some fun stunts in it. It's not going to be the most rewarding aircraft to fly, but it's great to get the general controls down. And with the general controls come some other things you can learn. You can learn some unique maneuvers to right yourself. Get your back going towards where you want to go. Get everything airtight, as it were. You can learn how to turn, which is, depending on what platform you're playing on, is working your rudder and your ailerons to turn in the direction you want. So in this case, since I'm going to be heading back towards the runway, we're going to use runway 12. I'm just going to pitch my plane and head back in that direction. I didn't need to turn that drastically. This plane is pretty slow compared to some others, so it's actually very easy to land, and we'll go over landing when I get there. I do not recommend doing some like skimming water in this plane. It tends to kind of try to lose altitude, especially like this when the turbulence is fighting me just a little. So even though I'm not that close to the water in retrospect. There we go, we got a little water skimming going there. But this, and then I can just yank up on the yoke, and I'm back in the sky. Meant to roll there, but I didn't really feel like doing that with the turbulence, so we'll just do that. Now, especially when you're looking about what kind of plane to get, a lot of people are jumping straight into these hydras and these lasers, and they are fun and awesome additions to your hangar. But you need to cover your fundamentals. You can become good at anything if you throw yourself at it enough, but you're going to get frustrated. If you want to cut down on frustration and get the fundamentals down and learn how to actually fly it, you need the basics. And unfortunately, the basics do not look like a Hydra or a laser. So now that we're coming in for landing, runway 12, just as I said a few minutes ago. Now I like to kill my engine and just coast in. Come in, and you're coming in smooth. Tap your air brake. There we go. Butter smooth landing. And now, of course, in this plane, it's very easy to do. And I have significantly more time behind a prop than I do in front of a jet engine in this game. But that's just the nature of the beast. There we go. And just come back into your hangar. And now, you know, that was just going over some simple maneuvers and showing you guys. So it's going to be a lot more complicated than that. And then you have kind of have a question from yourself there. Did you like the rotor? Did you like that? Maybe folks, accidentally unplugged my mic. So, did you like the rotor, or were you a little disappointed by it? And then you have to go, did you want maybe something like a propeller, vertical rotor, or did you want something a little faster? So let's say you're like me. Prop driven's nice, but I kept using rotor when I meant prop. I do apologize. But you're looking for something just a little quicker. This right here is the Bursa. It is an excellent training aircraft, and it's an excellent introduction into jet-powered aircraft in GTA. I highly recommend you get one. You see mine's already painted up and everything. Now, you cannot fit weapons onto this, but it's a very awesome aircraft to fly. It's very rewarding, and it's a lot of fun. Just like before, we're going to taxi out, though you do have to be careful there. I tend to do that a lot, where I will lift the side that I'm taxiing off the ground. You need significantly less runway to take off in this beast, and you're gone. You're in the air. This is pretty useful, actually, if you're doing stunt missions. You can roll really quickly. You can actually vertically climb pretty high. I've never tested it as to like maximum height, but you can definitely, this aircraft will go and will do what you want it to. It is a lot less forgiving than that Cuban 800 we were just in the air with, but it is insanely maneuverable. And I cannot stress this enough. Insanely maneuverable. Putting it through something like this, of course, this isn't really that challenging. I can bank hard like that. I can snap back like that, no problem. And that's just it. That was just a run and flaps. That was not rudder. This thing has a very good turning circle. It is a very nimble aircraft, and I love flying this thing. I fly this thing when I'm bored just because I find it, that's how much fun I've had with this thing. It is worth every penny of its purchase price. And especially when you're in a session like this, it's just you. You don't gotta worry about them oppressors. You don't gotta worry about anything like that. Getting in this aircraft is not an immediate death sentence, though you are able to easily outrun them. Keep that in mind. This Bursa, I have outran many of oppressors and many tryhards trying to shoot me down. Which, when we get into the combat and me going over that, I'll get more into that in a little bit, but you're so maneuverable. It does not matter what the city throws at you, because you're able to so long as you yourself can react, your jet will go exactly where you need it to go. So let's get heading back towards the airport. We went a little farther than with our last run. So do me a favor, drop a comment. How do you like getting around the map in GTA? Are you like me? Do you like aviation? Are you in the skies or are you on the ground? Or are you in the water? I've seen some people who say they like boats. You see there's the bridge. Now it's pretty foggy. So this is where you might be tempted to try to stay low to the ground so you get a better sense of where you are. Flying by your minimap is possible. I do it when it's extremely foggy, stormy, or whatever. And of course we'll take out the big jets. The big jet I have. I had the volatile. I sold it just before the video because well, it just wasn't as fun to fly as I thought it would be. The Miljet's much more fun, and I'll get into that too. So, come in. Again, I like to kill my engine. Now, with this aircraft, if you encounter turbulence like I just did, whoa, come on. Turbulence really trying to kill me right there. Don't be afraid to head back and try again. Don't be afraid to, you know, kick on your engine and just circle around. Now, in reality, the pilot would have to inform ground crew and everything that they're going to circle around, so it's going to beat them. So let's, you know, bank a little bit. Nothing much. We're not. You can see we are full throttle. Lower altitude, and we're coming in to try again. Alright, so, whoa. And the Bursa does like to get squirrely on you when you're landing. So you have to be ready for that. You saw with both attempts on landing, though we landed butter smooth on the second one. There we go. Didn't actually tip it. We'll take some helicopters out too, although most of my helicopters are trained for combat, or spec for combat, because they're not really meant for anything else, except for the cargo bob. The cargo bob is, of course, your Chinook, your carryall. And here we go. Here we go. Now, let's go ahead. Our Sea Sparrow's here. Excellent. Let's go ahead and talk about the Sea Sparrow, because the Sea Sparrow is a very small helicopter, and we were going to take a helicopter out anyway. So this one is one I just bought. If you always got to give her armor and engine handling, you know, your weapons. I think it would do an injustice to keep this thing unarmed, so I'm just gonna throw some rockets on it, and I'm gonna call that a day. And now, let's give it a black paint job. We'll do that. All right, now we're gonna exit the hangar. Now you can turn homing off of and just see. Now, of course, with a Sea Sparrow, the best thing that it can do is land in the water. So let's head over to the bay. I tend to fly with homing off because if I am in someone else's session, I don't like locking on targets I'm not going to shoot at, but that's just me, that is preference. So this thing's pretty nimble, though it is a little heavy towards the front, which is to be expected. So we're here in the bay, and let's see how we land in the water. Let's take out that helicopter too, if we can. Oh, that's a bad strike. That's a worse strike. So I need to practice a little bit with aiming this thing, but that's to be expected. I did just buy it. I get... Ooh, I was locking onto something there. Looks like something's shooting me. Oh, that's not good. Oh, hello. So when you're in a scenario like this and you're shooting at a target, just remember these homing missiles, sometimes they kind of suck ass. There we go. That looks like a good hit. Yep. Okay, well, it looks like we have been shot at. Doesn't look like any major damage. It looks like there's a hole in our windshield, which would be cause for concern if this were real life. But it is not. So it's not. Just as that would be massive cause for concern. I'm fairly certain I would have actually still hit it. So let's just see how we land in the water out here in the wild. So I'm sure we'll just settle right down. There you go. So yeah, we do indeed float. This would be good for if you've got a buddy stranded out in the water. You can land near them, pick their ass up, and haul back to base. This is actually kind of fun to fly, so I'm definitely gonna probably do a mini series where I review all the aircraft in their entirety. Yeah, and it does not even need to wait to recharge those missiles. Alright, but let's get back to base, shall we? Now, when you're landing a helicopter, you don't need to worry about coming in on a runway. Whee! So, you can just get down, plop down right in front of your hangar, like I just did, or you can do it a little more recklessly, even though I did kind of almost, I got a little too carried away there, maybe. But, it's fun, and that's what it's about. So now I'm sure you guys have, you're thinking that their next stop is armed aircraft, and you'd be right. But we're not going to the Gold Hydra over there just yet. That's kind of the pinnacle, in my opinion. Well, it's not really the pinnacle, but it is one of the more, I'll say, difficult aircraft to fly. This one is one I fell in love with. This is called the Rogue. It is $1.2 million worth every penny. I have taken down. I don't think there's anything I haven't killed in this jet. Players, NPCs, police. So just like before, ooh, I was not paying attention and I almost turned off the runway. This plane, I mean, it taxis. It wants to be in the air. This is a turboprop. Essentially, what it is it's a T-16. So it's a turboprop. It has bombs, explosive cannon, missile. This thing, it is a flying armory. Very excellent range, very fun to fly. And this is the style of plane I see most people kind of go towards. I don't see that many jets in the air. Not very many good ones. See some every now and again, but maybe that's just me. So, you can see I'm kind of flying that angle here. I don't really care if I'm level right now. Whoop. And we'll just roll. This thing is very, very responsive. Again, it is a lot less forgiving. Typically what you're gonna find is these aircraft that are like that can just 180 on a dime. They're not forgiving. Uh, especially when you just first buy this plane, I would actually recommend flying it first. This is, I'm just showing off some that I know are notable. So you have, of course, and with every aircraft you buy and with every aircraft you fly a lot, you're building on not only those fundamentals, but now you're looking at how do I turn? How do I outturn the enemy? How do I trick the other pilot into giving me that sweet shot I need? And actually doing is you're not outflying the pilot's gonna do. Lots of people forget that they need to watch their opponent, especially if this is just some griefer or something. People think it's gonna be an easy kill. These guys are far from easy kills, in my opinion, but they are the most rewarding. And so the one thing I don't really like doing, and I'm not that great at, is landing on normal streets with fixed wing. That is not a area I'm very good at. No one's gonna be good at everything. You're gonna have strengths and weaknesses as a human being. I mean, that's just how it goes, I guess. But it is an insanely fun trip to fly, especially in games like this. And I don't own the Oppressor Mark II, but I've killed them before. A lot of them, actually. Whoop. Yeah, I think it's about time for a new controller. It'll sometimes say I've pulled the stick to the right, and I'm not. So that's a bit of a problem. That could be why we botched our first attempt at landing the Bursa, but that also could have been me overcorrecting for the turbulence. I don't know. I'll go back and I'll watch that part and I'll decide and tell you guys on the next video. And if you guys have what you think it is, go ahead and drop it in the comments. I'd love to talk about it. I'd love to talk about anything, actually. So now that it's time to land. Now again, gonna go ahead and drop our gear. We're probably not gonna need all the runway. There we go. Now that wasn't as smooth of a landing, I admit, but the aircraft is unharmed. That's the main point. And yes, you can kill your lights on the aircraft if you so choose, if you want to go dark. But there's really no reason to. I usually fly with my brights on. This way I can see everything I need to. It does kind of hurt your eyes when you're in here though, so kind of prep for that, you know, kind of either dim or kill your lights when you're entering the hangar. You're not going to need them when the game's pulling you back into your hangar, obviously. So now let's take a look at another kind of helicopter. This is a cargo bob. It's kind of almost essential to GTA in some regards, because there are some missions that having a cargo bob is very useful. This thing can lift a lot. It is a hefty boy. And so let's just go find something to pick up, shall we? I'm sure there's something around here somewhere. And if you're just starting GTA and you don't have an aircraft of your own but you'd like to fly, no worries, you can still find plenty here at LSIA or at Sandy Shores. We'll be visiting that place momentarily. Oh! Don't let your helicopter do that too long. You can actually break off your rotors. And hooking things, something else I'm not very good at. I don't really fly helicopters too often. Nope. But sometimes you just botch something. And I've been kind of using this time to experiment with helicopters. Of course, there's good old cargo bob. You can carry cars with it. If you're good at it, you can carry your buddy's car. Pull a prank on them. Pull a prank on a random player. Maybe move their car on top of a roof or something. That's always fun. Back before Smugglers Run, these were our bombers. We'd grab a cargo bob, grab a car, and kind of drop them on ill-suspecting players. And if you're really brave, you'd go for the box truck, which I don't really know if it can lift. I've never done it myself. I'm sure it can, because it can pick up a tank. That I have done. See, and this is where it comes back into fundamentals. Since I'm not as strong with helicopters. There we go. We got it. We got it. Yep. We got it. Oh. Oof. Big oof. Okay, I can't really. I'm very lucky that did not take me out. Alright. So, cargo trucks? No, apparently. Or at least not very high above the ground. What a wonderful balancing act GTA did. Sarcasm if you didn't catch it. So now we are going to talk about Le Miljet, which is a, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's actually a big ass plane. So we're gonna run over here. We're gonna go to our storage. We're gonna get our Miljet, and we are going to put a lot of things back into storage to get it out. It is not as big as the Volatile, but it's still a very large aircraft. This can seat something like 16 or 17 people. This is what I actually learned how to fly jets on, and then I had to go back and fly some other things that were not this big, and yeah, it's a little insane. You do need a little more runway to land and take off in this. And you need to kind of, don't pull all the way back on the throttle when you're lifting off. Pull about halfway back and you're good. See, I'm climbing at a very decent rate right now. I can curtail that up should I want or need to for any particular reason. We're still the only ones in our session. Boy, would that have been bad. Just as I'm wrapping up the video I'll be talking about the fun stuff at the end. Of course, I'm saving the stuff like that for the end. So with this can go extremely high. I have gone above the clouds. It is not unheard of to have these things just up here way above where most other players fly, just to stay out of people's way and stay out of danger. And kind of a first person view gives you kind of a sense of what the pilot sees. By the way, this does work. Some of your instruments do work. You can see that rocks when I rock the aircraft. This does aileron, although you do start to lose altitude when you do it, so it can't fly upside down. and go upside down. And right now we're at a very healthy cruising speed. Let's see, just we're actually extremely high off the ground, even though it doesn't seem it. And you can see the contrails of our wings just going through the air. No, those are not chemicals, that is simply the air. It is no more harmful than anything else you would experience. Don't know where that came from. I think it was from crop dusters. Now you can see again, this one likes to pull down. But we're a lot higher up than I've ever taken a Cuban 800. You can see we're probably right. Yeah, we're right at about where its max height would be, I believe. And we are actually getting ready to fly to the military base. Let's go ahead and do a little social experiment. So we're right now we are directly over the military base. You can see that below us, and no wanted level. So let's see what happens when I fly back over at a much lower altitude. I am aware I will probably get shot down. I have been shot down before, and you will get shot down when you're flying. Either something like this, or if you decide to initiate combat with another pilot. Do know, they've made that jet selection for a reason, or turboprop. It could be the Rogue or the P-51 Mustang. Damn, what's it called? The Dakota? Yeah, the Dakota. Now you can hear my engines are going just into overtime right now, so I have to be careful on my maneuvers. I could easily lose control of the aircraft, and let's see what happens. I'm sure they will dispatch a fighter or a missile to try and shoot me down. See if they are successful. Alright, or they're gonna let me pass uneventfully. Huh. Well, that's weird. Okay. I was sort of hoping to outrun a missile in this thing just to prove a point. So let's if poking the bear was not part of this channel's job, I don't know what is. So let's just go really low. Let's fly where we are 100% sure they see us. I'm for sure they're gonna do something about this. Ah, yes, there it is. 4 wanted level. Yep. Well, ain't that a coinky-dink? No missile, just cops. Well, that's funny. So let's go back to base. Any Star 1 level is really easy to get rid of in a jet, and especially one like these that don't mind cruising for a few minutes and just staying aloft and really just staying out of everyone's line of sight. You see I've got a dark blue with a gold. There we go. We have officially lost them. A 4-star 1 level lost just like that. But yeah, didn't really expect to not get shot down there. And that was a little disappointing. I was hoping they would dispatch a Hydra or laser and I could attempt to outmaneuver it with the mill jet. That would have been some jolly good fun. Probably would have died, honestly, but that would have been fun. So with this, you actually kind of want to start out here when you're landing. I know it seems like that's a really long way away, but Oh, hey. Let's go ahead and hit those lights. And now again, don't want your landing gear out this far out. You could easily end up stranding yourself. I mean, it's a swim, you can get back, but you know what I mean. You could easily end up hitting the water. You don't want to go too drastic of a dive, because again, you do have to pull yourself out of it. It's all based on what you're comfortable with doing. If you're comfortable doing a 90-degree dive, you have fun with that. I have done a landing like that. They're not the easiest to perform, but you can do them. So let's go ahead and let's move on to the fun things, shall we? The main reason everyone learns to fly in GTA. So first of all, with a larger aircraft, you actually kind of want to just let her come to a stop fully before you. It does kind of handle the same way as the Cuban 800 in terms of how you want to land. You kind of want to bring her down even and not too drastic to any one angle. But you do kind of want to, it's going to kind of bounce up and you're going to want to kind of let it do that. Alright, so let's go ahead and boop. That was a healthy flight in the Miljet. Didn't really go anywhere, but that was a healthy flight. So now we have one last thing to cover when it comes to jets, and that is armed jets. Combat jets. How do you fight with a jet? Well, you fight with a jet that looks like this. This is the Hydra. Now this is a hover jet. It can take off vertically, it can land vertically. I will be showing you how to take off jet form first, like stereotypical jet, runway, left off, boom. Which you just hit right on your D-pad so that you're not in VTOL mode, and you are airborne. Now in this one, a lot of the same fundamentals that we've been talking about still apply. This is not the best performing jet in the game when it comes to sheer, like, it can roll, it's not the fastest, it's fast. It's a jet, it's fast. That's what jets do, they're fast. So, the main thing this is actually made for is being able to accurately deliver munitions to targets. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a target to actually show, but you can, if you want to practice strafing, line up with the road, because that is what most people will be doing, is strafing. So, if you find yourself having to circle your way out of a rocket too much, bank hard and switch your circle. You don't want them catching up to you too much. Or you can even pull something like that and change your altitude pretty drastically. Again, I'm not going to go over everything with every jet because that would be a very long video. But let's go ahead and show you VTOL. So when you're coming in for a landing, let's say, use the runway. Boom. Now we are in VTOL. Now your controls have changed to handle more like a helicopter than an actual jet. And you can bring it down. Or raise just like a helicopter. Now your jet's down there are doing all your work. And to land, you just, I like to half throttle down. And to take off, you literally full throttle up. And you gear up. You want to get pretty high off the ground. And there you go. Now we already had kind of a, you saw that stall speed warning. You want to be careful of that when you're being told. I let my jet go way back so I could show you. You can indeed stall on this game, and they will give you that warning on your mini-map. Hey, you need to fix that. You see though, just as if we took off from a runway. Now when it comes to landing this thing, a lot of people say VTOL is easy because they don't know how to land. Getting a jet from the air going, well, in this game it's, I don't know what the scale speed is, but it's stupid fast. These things go stupid fast, but to on the ground is an art. It truly is an art, and it is an art I enjoy making. So here, you don't need your engine on 24/7. You don't need that full thruster. So just coast in, landing gear down, kind of power, 100% or 50. Your call there, whatever you think you need. And boom, on the ground, butter smooth landing. And the more you can do that, the more you practice, the more you can do that. You see, I have zero problem putting these things in the air, on the ground, upside down, whatever. Yes, you're gonna do work while you're on the ground. In case anyone has ever told you otherwise. I doubt anyone's doubted that in GTA. And now, armed helicopter combat. Now, we have two armed helicopters to choose from. We're going to take the FH-1 Hunter out, aka the Apache. This mean-looking son of a bitch. I have names for almost all my aircraft. This one's just Hunter. This was easy. There you go, you lock on. Now that was really simple. Let's see. Or if you're looking to maybe hit a group of targets, or you don't know where your target precisely is, you know, in that area. Barrage. They also have bombs. I don't have that equipped, and flares. The stuff we've been talking about all video. This is maneuverable, but you're gonna have to get used to it. It has a very fast rate of descent and wants to climb ever so slightly. So a good way to get speed with an aircraft like this is you'll get going, then you'll drop your altitude slightly, about like that, and then you'll just gun it on the RPM and level out. In this case, I'm gonna fly a little bit above that to avoid that, but that's essentially how you'll get speed in a helicopter, is you'll keep doing a maneuver like that. They're not really made in terms of the way Rockstar made them to go into that kind of more, and you can't burst fire barrage if no one knew that. I've never seen other people do that, so I'm going to assume that that's not a feature many people know about. You can also just repeat fire these. It's no issue. And fly by, pick a spot. Let's right here. Boom. And I hit the ground there because I kind of got too focused on hitting my target. You're gonna have that. You're gonna mess up every now and then. No one is the perfect pilot at any aircraft, especially me with helicopters. I am a fixed wing aircraft through and through. I love my helicopters. I will get better with them, but that's just something I gotta work on. Right now I say I'm okay. Fixed wing though, I'm pretty solid. Now, the one type of aircraft we're not going to be covering too heavily is the last one. I don't have to go back into the hangar for it. It's right here. It's the Titan. Ironically, I'm also going to show you guys how to parachute this one, because it doesn't bother me if I blow a rando aircraft. My aircraft do not get blown up if I can help it. So the Titan falls under a classification we already know is turboprop, and it is also 4-engine. Now we haven't seen the 4-engine yet, so landing this would actually be a kind of a mix between the Cuban 800 and the Miljet. They do handle pretty similarly, but there are some slight differences. For example, this thing, getting this thing out onto the runway is just a task. It is big, it is sluggish, and you're pretty much going to want to conserve power. So notice I didn't really stop there. You're going to bring her up off the ground. Half throttle. These larger aircraft don't like getting hit on their tails. And you can see we are airborne with this thing, this beast. They are so fun to fly. They are also extremely easy to fly. I actually recommend people wanting to kind of, if you're still a novice but you want to show off some of your piloting skills, fly one of these things around, kind of do a hard pitch on them, not hard to regain, and I'll do a touch and go just to show you guys how to land. Now I have the landing gear out way before I need to, but that's because I don't intend on actually landing, and we're going to use the far runway. So this is actually how you perform a touch and go. So see, we're on the ground, we're still full throttle, and we just pull up on the yoke as much as we can. Smoothly though, don't want to yank it back. Yanking it back would result in hitting the tail. Just to get to a good altitude, I'm going vertical. Stall speed, alright, we're gone. Goodbye, Titan. Thank you. Shout out to the Titan in the video. Press F in chat for wherever it may be. Oh, it is. It is spiraling towards the ocean, and it is now the ocean's problem. So let's get heading back towards the aircraft, or the airfield. Now this parachute is technically an aircraft in itself. Paragliding is also really fun in GTA. I have the pilot's variant, the orange, white, and blue, very visible. That's a good thing and a bad thing. Let's put down right next to our hunter over there. And if you don't want to hurt yourself when you come down, just kind of curb up like that and roll. Boom. You're good. You are 100% good. You can take out your AK and start blasting whatever you want to do. So anyway, that's my video on aircraft. Thank you for stopping by. I'm Sarge, and I'll see you on the next Sarge's Recap.